America.
Oh, Black America. I see what you're doing.
It's a kind of blue stripe on it.
Nope.
All blacked out. Black America. Part of the revolution, brother. Don't Kim.
I'm moving to this side of the camera.
Black delegation is traded for Andrew Hogle. Forfeit the rights. Have to do the robot dance with us. Yes. Effort's there. He twitched, and I'm concerned.
After like a year and a half of the show, you that beat. It was to the beat. Of course, that music is on Bridging Civil Tension, 21-6 on that Bridging Civil Tension. Of course, the incredible host of this show, John Smith, the legend, guy, author, entrepreneur, sales manager, all-around good guy, Phil Wallace.
International Man of Mystery. Kent Jones here.
Right.
And
In studio, special guest.
brother from another mother.
What's going on, everybody?
Let's make this sound like a note.
There we go.
Look at that.
Was that last week?
Fading out.
Was that last week? We did the hard
Just
stop.
a hard stop.
We're like, dude.
It
No
was
more.
It was
No
so
more.
bad. It was bad. Of course, Bridging Civil Tension brought to you through the financial support of our good friends at Natural Therapy Wellness Center. Natural Therapy Wellness Center. If you need a massage, go call these guys.
Massage.
www.mchenrymassage.com 815-385-8190. Just a good way to end the week after a busy week.
Mm-hmm. Get that tension out.
Then
Come on now.
massage, and then go to someplace and get an apple cider donut. I mean, that's the season, right? You guys were just talking about pumpkins.
Pumpkin spice latte.
I'm excited.
Phil's favorite.
My
Phil's
favorite.
And just a huge shout
Mr.
out,
Wallace,
right?
you are back again.
A huge shout out to Andrew Hogle. If you're in the market for a home, looking to upsize or sell, get in touch with Andrew. How do people do that?
You can find me on the internet. You can hit me up on my phone. Facebook, anywhere.
Baird & Warner Realtor
We're new.
extraordinaire.
Yep.
Ooh.
Out of Baird & Warner, Algonquin, Andrew Hogle, Hogle, representing hometown Algonquin,
Yeah.
Henry County's finest.
Peace up.
You figure people know how to spell Andrew, so you just throw the
Throughout the last name. People got to
That's
be,
it.
be
Now, blessed to have you here. Truly, probably family. That's all.
Family.
That's
That's
all I can
family.
say to this guy.
Family.
Family. And we and you all often
Yeah.
right are on in the comments, which is great. So we invited you, and you said, "Yep, let's do it." And you're here, and it's great. And oddly enough, John Gruden kind of set up a perfect show.
He set it up perfectly.
Now he did it 11. He teed it up 11 years ago.
Well,
Yes.
Or 10 years ago. Anyway, so if you're unfamiliar with what has happened in the world of sports, and we love sports, the three of us, basketball is really the passion, soccer for you when you were a kid,
Yep.
but it's come over to the right side.
I'm now a football dad.
Oh
dad.
yeah, he's a little...
Hudson's got the basketball genes. There's no doubt about it. But football, he is crushing it.
flag football.
I got to learn football.
Well, Lucy's doing volleyball. I had to learn volleyball too.
I work the scoreboard.
Nice.
I got that down. I volunteer and do all that. I know how to put the cones on the sideline.
There we go.
Look at you. That's fantastic. Nice.
I just hit him. It's flag.
Hit somebody.
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
flag. But
sorry.
run him over.
That's right. Lower that shoulder.
And I'm learning soccer.
I could teach you.
Yeah,
I would
teach you.
love to.
Can't wait to go down to Texas, see Elijah, give him some pointers.
I thought he was down in Texas. I would have guessed rodeo, but soccer? Okay.
I would love to see him just take down a little baby calf.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, after the Bears rolled over the Las Vegas Raiders, an email was leaked from 11 years ago from Mr. Gruden that was pretty racial. And if you don't know, it just says D. Smith, right, has lips the size of Michelin tires.
Of Michelin tires. Wow.
Now, I don't know what the beginning of or the body of the email or where this fell. What?
The size of Michigan. That's impressive.
Now, what? and Gruden apologized by saying he is really sorry and that he refers to liars as rubber lips. He also said, however, he doesn't think Smith is a liar.
Wait, what? What in the Rick James?
Few different circles going on.
I was saying that only because I felt the man was a liar, and that's why I called him rubber lips. No, he's an honest man, and I trust him. I see no faults in what he has to say. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Now, here's the good news. Now, Gruden's a couple years older than me, but he says, "No, I don't think that he's dumb. I don't think he's a liar, and I don't have a racial bone in my body, and I've proven that for 58 years." Okay, so here's the question that I will ask the two of you. You see a good-looking gal with a nice booty, and you're like, "Oh, damn, that's a nice booty," right? Is that racial?
That's someone's daughter.
I know I got that. But I'm just saying, right? He just maybe in this email because I don't. Maybe he was just saying.
I mean, if she doesn't have the last name Jones, then yes, I think I've said that.
Thank you.
Just for the time, perhaps in my youth.
So is what he said a racial comment?
Rubber lip?
No, Michelin tires.
Michelin tires?
What he used, yeah. The size of Michelin button tires. With the F word in there.
You can make the argument that it is not. If we're going to play the stereotype game, which race has the biggest lips? Let's look around the room. I'm first. I think you guys are tied for fourth. So, I mean, if someone who says comments like that would probably stereotype in that direction. Now, is it just because he said rubber or Michelin tires that it is racist? No, but in the stereotypical world, you know where you're aiming that at. I don't know if you would call a white newscaster a rubber-lipped individual, but
out of context, I don't know that I would ever pick up on it. It's not something that I've ever been exposed to. It's not something that I know. Off air, we had the conversation about Karens. I'm out of the loop to an extent.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you go back and you read the rest of the email, you go back and read the thousands of other emails, you go back to seeing a pattern and claims by former players, coaches, other staff. Mm-hmm. Now you realize there's without a doubt the guy has at least a few racial bones in his body.
Right.
And he continues to go back to those same bones.
Right.
And hasn't changed, hasn't figured it out.
Exactly.
That's my answer.
It doesn't seem like it's out of context, out of character for him. For instance, like you said, there's certain terminology that you may just not know what it means.
Right.
But looking at the history of his emails, he knows exactly what these terms and statements are claiming for. And although you are new to the big lip world, I, sir, am your tour guide. I've been here for many years.
Michelin's
I've
off.
Run through the gamut of lip comments. That's impressive.
Can't go with the Michelin tire lips.
Can't go with Michelin.
But she can have a Michelin tire booty.
Right. So
it's a good year.
So from an email 11 years ago, should he have been canceled?
No, I feel on that one reprimanded. As far as just that one by itself, reprimanded.
But you've got a product. You've got a product, and you need to fill that stadium. Probably a higher percentage of your employees that put shoulder pads on are African American. Mm-hmm. Is that fair to say? Football is probably 50-50, I guess. But I would guess. I don't know.
I don't know if I want to touch that.
I don't
know if I want to touch that comment.
You got your employees and you have your crowd.
Correct. And you need to fill the stats.
What, it was Oakland?
Yeah,
you better watch. You better be careful if you want to make out the parking lot, homie.
Hey, Ted.
No, I mean,
there
11
you go.
years ago. 11 years
Thanks-
ago, he's
thanks,
somewhere
Sal.
else. I mean,
Appreciate that.
was he with Oakland 11 years ago? I thought he was with.
I think
Was this when he was with
Oakland.
Tampa
I mean,
Bay?
he was with Oakland, then he was with Tampa Bay,
Did he go
then
back?
he went and did some TV
Because
stuff.
they canceled him in Tampa.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They've canceled him.
So I guess it. Now we don't know. This is the one that came out. I would imagine, and I will go back to say that if you go back into the 80s and 70s when Al, what's his name, owned the Oakland Raiders, that guy was a racist, pretty big time, right? And again, he probably said things a lot worse and on the microphone and in just
Private,
handwritten
right.
notes, 'cause back then they didn't
Times
have-
were different.
Yeah.
Times were different.
Yeah.
How the racism was portrayed was
They
different.
were getting
Right. There we go. There we go.
That's he was punching down on those people. Right? So good morning, Ted. Yeah, hey, we're all doing well. Hopefully you are too. Hopefully you're back at home. Things are good. Shayna says the bigger story is why he felt safe to opine on the NFL email system. Is he being scapegoated in hopes to appease and halt a deeper investigation? It could be.
Oh, there's going to be more that comes out. I mean, what is it? 600,000 emails that were reviewed. But I think that's what's great about a show like this is let's talk about that. Let's talk about this system. Let's talk about why it took 11 years.
Right.
Let's talk about why nothing's been done. Are we ready for it? You ready? I see the grin, Phil.
I'm prepared.
We took 11 years to hit on this racial topic. But is that what he got nailed for? No.
It's not what he got nailed for.
That is not the final straw that broke the camel's chin strap for him to hang up.
What was
Did you see the post?
it?
The Chappelle post.
So he went there with some derogatory terms to my friends and my family of different sexual orientations, different sexual beliefs, different relationships, different lifestyles, other people that we love. Gruden did.
Yeah.
And it in my opinion, that's what he got nailed for. Worse off.
Right.
The racial stuff has been going on for years. It's been allowed to go on for years. He did not. That wasn't the heat.
Right.
That was the little trickle. The heat came when he started using the term faggot.
Right.
And other stuff that just has no business. And this isn't the first case. It's happened in NBA. It's happened in other years. I mean, I think Kobe had to rest his soul, had to apologize for using the term.
Right.
I grew up in the 90s. That was a term that was around.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on. And that's a problem from a person who grew up in McHenry County, lived in McHenry County, who has friends and family of all different styles and races.
Right.
I see it. The race didn't get him. The LGBTQ.
So everything that I read was all about the racist remark.
No, it's coming.
That's the spin, I suppose, that the NFL is putting on.
And so it's a great comment. Who was Shayna?
Yeah.
Shayna, you're right. There's more coming, and it's not going anywhere. It's not just Gruden. No, hopefully we dive into this, and hopefully we see that there's no place for racial stuff. There's no place in the sexual side of things.
Okay.
But it's coming. It's coming.
Okay, but why do we sweep it under the rug then when it was race, and now we don't? Because
we can run the usual play.
No, well, in the 60s and 70s, racial injustice was extreme.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of people in today's society think, we've come a long way. It's good enough.
Yeah.
Phil, it's good enough. We're trying.
It's better than what it used to be.
We're trying. Look where it was in the 70s. Now look at it. You're not the only brother in Crystal Lake.
There's 5 of us now.
You count on one hand. No.
Things have come a long way, but now we have this new thing.
So listen.
New hot topic.
Listen, you posted a picture of your squad from high school on Instagram.
Right.
And Lucy's like, man, look at Coach Phil. I said, which one is he?
Hey, I probably wouldn't have recognized him either. He probably had a 6-pack on, no tattoos. He was probably throwed out.
Looks like
Let's be honest.
6'4" Elijah.
My mom used to do that because my mom is like your color, right?
Right.
So my mom would be like, "Yeah, my
Clear?
son."
Mom's clear?
Yeah, she's reddish.
Pink.
And she's like, "Yeah, my son plays for Crystal Lake South." Well, which one is he? Well, he's tall. Oh, he's muscular. Plays in the post. The black kid. Oh, Phil. Just say so. Play on Guess Who. That narrows it down.
So here's the and here's kind of to go off that. What you're saying is, look how far we've progressed. We're not going to let it take 11 years to fire him for saying, homosexual.
So Sal's
How
got
did-
it.
how
Sal's
did
got
Sal-
it there
how-
with the
how did he
comment.
say it, right?
Sal's
Derogatory. homosexual
heard the same
comments.
thing.
Right.
He also made derogatory homosexual
Raphael, good
comments.
morning.
Shayna, I don't know why. I don't know why that they are slow leaking. I don't know what
Yeah.
the situation is. Some people said he was under heat for how the Raiders are performing.
They're 3-1.
Over the
pretty good.
years,
Pretty good against the
I
Bears.
mean, but I do not know, but I'm sure that again, it's the homosexuality aspect is what got him. I firmly believe that.
Do you feel that sparked the investigation for the emails? Like, hey, after this,
What did he
else
say?
has he said?
I don't know what. Just using the term faggot.
Okay. We can say that.
That-
I mean, we're
that
using
term.
it. We're
Okay.
using it
I
as
mean-
a reference. It's not that that's the way you feel.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And Sal says, hey, you know what? This has been going on in sports for decades, 70s,
Yes.
2000, and first quarter of 2020. So thanks for clarifying what decades would be, Sal. I appreciate you. Love you for that.
But
Just in case you guys.
Just in
The-
case. Just in case.
Safety
the
first.
sexuality, the gender equality,
Yeah.
all that stuff in the LGBT community that's
Right.
come up, that is kind of the new wave, and as it should be.
Right.
As it should be.
There's a quote in an article that said, per the Times, he often called NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell a faggot and a clueless anti-football P word.
P word.
Yes.
P knuckle.
Yes. Says the article.
Yeah, Philippine.
So because
Filipino.
that's the hot topic, that's what did him in finally. And hey, we're on a bridging civil tension.
So growing up as a kid in the 80s, God, that was gay. I mean, that came
Oh,
out
yep.
all the
Right.
time.
Yep.
To the point where in the 2000s, I had to change a lot of what I would say. I remember
Absolutely.
telling my kids,
Absolutely.
you're so gay. So,
Right.
now, and it came out like nothing, like it, because, hey,
When they're the football smear.
the only place, from Iowa,
Play smeared.
smear the queer.
Yeah.
Back in the day, right? I mean, growing up in Iowa, the only place there were gay people was San Francisco in the 80s. That's
Right.
all we knew.
Right.
Now, they were all around us.
Right.
We didn't know. And it just came out
People
that
weren't
way,
comfortable.
right? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
back in the 60s, they called cigarettes fags.
Right.
Hey, pass the fag, right?
He's showing his age now.
Right?
Yeah.
No, the gray hair is
I'll have to just take your word on
I
that.
got a few grays, but
Gray
I
hair
don't know
and the
about the
frumpy
60s.
body.
You lost me in the 60s.
Yeah. So Chappelle couldn't even get away with it. Yeah, right. I mean, Netflix tried to shut him down for his last deal, or not Netflix, but I mean, people, right, tried to shut him down, which is good. He didn't apologize for making the derogatory. Yes, correct. He had players that were that recently came out and call him out. Right.
Right.
We played Smear the Kent. Thanks.
And
Real friends.
I'm going to cancel you.
Real friends.
Yeah.
but Sal,
I can cancel you by blocking you.
that's my point, Sal, is that he didn't apologize for it, and he's got players calling him on it because they have the backing right now because it's the hot topic.
Well, right, and there's a lot of when I say a lot, 5, 6, 7, I don't know, NFL players who have come out as homosexual. Right? There may be more. I don't follow the NFL closely, but I know there are ones that have come out and said, "Yeah, I'm homosexual."
Right.
And so I would guess that it flows like this. The NFL is like, here's the storyline. Oh, we do have this email from 2011, and this is going to be the reason. This is going to be how we spin this. These are going to be your talking points, John. If not, we will sue tremendously, because we feel better about this than having to deal perhaps with the LGBTQ community at this point. So I would ask, again, what what are his talk? What's the spin? What are his talking points? If you want to go ahead and get paid out for the rest of your contract that you have, this is how it's going to work, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that demographic also have very deep pockets and a strong vote.
Right.
So that's why I think which water is hotter. Now, again, let's go back to why is the race cart not as hot water? Let's go back to that.
Come a long ways. We're not hanging people in the tree out front anymore.
It's in the backyard this time.
We ain't dragging them by a horse.
Gosh, it's an improvement.
So again, to what we talk about a lot on this show is what's socially acceptable. It's socially acceptable, and it wouldn't surprise us that he would say that about a black person.
Right.
But for him to say it about that demographic,
Yep.
Oh my Lanta, right? Because why? It's socially, it's still socially, we're still allowing it to be socially acceptable, right? And again, hey, we'll bring up this one email. To your point, how many do they have? We're going to bring up this one email where, man, that's a nice ass. Boy, got big lips. Well, it's just a fact. It wasn't anything racist. It's just a fact.
Right.
And I call people who lie have rubber lips. I've never heard that term before.
No. And I don't.
If you talk like that, you're weird.
Still melted lips.
I'm not a betting man,
Right.
but I have $1 in my pocket that says that there's something worse. There's something more racial in these emails. There's something, if a person is that bold and brazen to type, Steve Smith at NFL.com in an email and say,
"You're this."
Lips are the size of Michelin's or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he said something somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so, to your point, they're not.
It's a cover up.
They're not going to show you where he used other derogatory terms or anything like that. But it's coming. It's coming.
So, and I'll go back to the Chappelle. I did watch it this past week. It's hilarious, absolutely brilliant.
Yep. Good to see him back on his game.
Dude.
And he always was goofing with that coat. Must have been uncomfortable. Anyway,
showing off the kicks.
Yeah, wag the dog. Sounds that's right. Literally, shouldn't people start standing up and go, how'd you do that? How'd you get people to react that fast and make such a big deal?
Mm-hmm.
So quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing this for hundreds of years for our people.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't get the needle to move. Right? How does that happen? How do we as a society allow that to happen?
Whose job is it? The NFL? Because here's my question. You got NFL, who's got this going on. Now, and again, John Gruden technically resigned.
Correct. Wasn't fired. He resigned.
So you got the NFL. Anybody see the great news of who is headlining the halftime show this year? No.
Oh.
One of my favorite concerts I went to.
Share.
Ready to be mind blown?
In fact,
Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem.
What?
Mary J.
Old school.
What?
Yeah.
They're letting Eminem
Dre
have a
Day
microphone.
2000.
Like
Day.
Eminem have a microphone at the Super Bowl?
Right?
That's awesome.
But
That's
wait a
awesome.
second. Have we not listened to the music? Have we not listened to the lyrics?
Yeah.
So something isn't right here.
Right.
With who? The NFL. Now, I know NFL doesn't hire it.
Right.
NFL doesn't do their own entertainment, but they have to approve it. I think Jay-Z's in charge of scheduling now because it flopped so often.
Right.
I mean, we're not seeing Janet's nipple anymore.
Which is a shame.
And, but
That was not the size of a Michelin tire.
I love hanging out with you guys.
But that's who's going to be doing halftime show.
Yeah, that'd be one I would tune in.
I'm watching that.
Literally,
Me
I
too.
usually tune
Me
out
too.
at halftime
Right.
because they're all crap. You know, hey, we got Aerosmith. They're 900 years old, and they play the same song from the 80s.
Had to make it wheelchair accessible.
Right.
Right up on that stage.
Literally, they're 900 years old. Right? But and all three of those guys I listen to. You can pull it up on my phone or Spotify. I listen to those guys.
Rolling Stones?
No.
Great.
Eminem's
Is it? Of course not.
Eminem's one of my favorites. I can't believe that
Common
he got
misconception.
African American of the Year. That was a funny line.
He earned it.
That was a funny line right there. But the real issue again, and this is what bridging civil tension is all about, is there's people up in arms now. There's people who are saying, he said all these derogatory things about. I haven't heard that. I've heard the racist piece, right? So now at halftime of the Super Bowl, I mean, are they going to get up there and, I can't breathe shirt, but hey, John Gruden shirt or something? I don't know.
I mean, if they go up there and they sing their legit lyrics from the 90s, 2000s, early Eminem, there's going to be some cancel going on. There's going to be some cancel going on.
Oh, yeah.
Sal, beep, beep,
bleep,
beep,
bleep,
beep.
everything.
That's it. It sounded great. I couldn't understand a word. They cut out every 3 seconds. Right?
That's going to be interesting. Who are these guys? I don't like them.
But-
Y'all don't like me.
So what type of example, what type of standard, what type of solidarity, what type of consistency are you showing?
Right.
As an NFL, as a billion-dollar industry.
Billion-dollar industry. And that's...
We don't protect
Go ahead.
our black
You
players
might be
from the
over
white coach. We don't protect the Indian nation from the rich white owner.
Yep.
We maybe potentially protect our friends who are of different sexual orientations from them.
Right.
But we need to put some asses in the seats. We got to make some money. We got to make sure that Kent, Phil, and Andrew don't walk away at halftime after the commercials.
Right.
They're going to sit in their seats and they're going to drink their beer. They're going to drink their water. They're going to eat their food and tune in because it's Dre Day all day.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And what's my movie, babe?
I got still DRE
You can
playing
say
in my
we're
head.
not FCC regulators. You can say it here. Hell, I was cussing up a storm on the first show.
No, I don't need Mom washing my mouth. I was so blatant.
Yeah.
Mom, are you listening?
I
What just happened?
did not allow him
Phil
to talk
moved
like
something.
this.
Yeah.
I did.
There you go.
So that was the post that I just text messaged you.
Yeah.
Was the Chappelle was talking about how when it was African American or derogatory terms towards African Americans or minorities, it was guys that was 11 years ago play football. But when he said something about the LGBTQ community, he instantly had to resign. And so the meme goes to show, I don't know if there's a way we could upload that or maybe later, where it says maybe Chappelle was right the entire time because he referenced in a reference to where he says in this country you can kill an African American, but you can't hurt the feelings of someone from that community.
Yeah.
People thought he was wrong for that, and then we just saw it a week later with this coach.
Yeah. Sal says, hey, Latinos, what about us? And is Villalobos your real name? Come on. Is that just your screen name? You're probably a fat, pudgy white guy like me with a... I love him. It's not. That's his real name, folks. He lives in Texas. Anyway.
To answer your question, though, you said, how do we make change, right?
Yeah.
How do we fix it? We've had this conversation numerous times, how anything like this that happens towards African Americans always a one-off. Not that big a deal, let it go. And then what I've told you the play is half-hearted apology and everything is fine and it gets swept under the rug.
Yeah.
If you know that there's no real consequence to killing, being derogatory, whatever, towards African Americans, where's the pressure coming from to actually stop?
Yeah.
If you know that you're like, well, if you don't like it, you're my manager. I know your manager feels like I feel. So if you fire me, before you fire me, he'll fire you. I don't have no reason to watch what I say or watch who I arrest or watch how I move or watch what I email because your boss is on my team.
Yep. Yeah, Phil, he didn't mean it like that.
Right.
He didn't
So-
mean it that was a long time ago. long time.
So back in 1988,
Right.
Okay, CBS Sports had Jimmy Snyder on. He was referred to as Jimmy the Greek. Okay,
My kind of
and
guy.
what?
My kind of guy.
Yeah, Jimmy the Greek, right? And he was fired back in 1988 by the network after a controversial television interview where in which he said many blacks were superior athletes because of breeding from the time of slavery, and that the only area in sports left for whites was coaching. All right. This is back in 1988.
Take offense to that. I'm a coach. It's because I'm old and fat.
And
I
white.
can't play anymore. Well, no.
Listen,
Clear.
listen.
We established this early on. I'm clear.
For the past 2 weeks, I've been going back to the gym, playing pickup ball Mondays and Wednesday mornings.
What about wheelchairs?
To the point where I have trouble walking today, so I had to stop.
That's
because
what that is.
My ankles.
It's icy hot. We smelled you
Yeah,
walking.
yeah, that's been.
They got rid of Ben Gay.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Yeah.
It's been they.
Chappelle.
Thank you. So truly, so back in '88,
right?
They didn't. CBS was like done,
Yeah.
gone. I remember it was a big deal, and I remember a lot of the conversations that happened around that. Like, come on, it's true. Hey, why did he get fired?
You say 1988?
Yeah.
So one of the other clips I saw, or GIFs of the email, and maybe you could pull this up to confirm, about John Gruden. He said something about poor kids do something better or more athletic, something like that, rather than the white kids.
Yeah.
He had a few things that he said.
And it was just mind-blowing that that's how it is. Now, again, the guy's 60 years old, grew up in different era, all those things. But we're not talking about conversation from 40 years ago. We're not talking about a conversation when the guy was 18 years old.
Right,
I mean, we're talking over the last couple of years, something like that. And that shows that the dude is racist. Maybe he was raised this way. Maybe he never had the opportunity to change or didn't have the right way of helping understand that.
But here's a guy, multi-millionaire, obviously a pretty decent coach because he was pretty successful.
Yep.
And then wasn't so successful, came back, and
Yep.
was okay,
Mhm.
but had a good broadcasting
Yep.
career as well.
Time with ESPN.
So here's a guy who could have changed the narrative, could have
Long
changed
time.
it,
Yeah.
for a long time. Chose not to. Chose to fall back into that good old boy, position.
Yep.
Right. And said, "Hey, man, it's okay to be derogatory against African American athletes. We can do that. It's acceptable.
Right.
It's in my email." Now I bet on the other side of it, whoever he was emailing was email. Oh yeah, I bet. Right. We don't get it. Right. And now we move quickly. So obviously back in 1988, there was something going on where CBS is like, done, fella.
Right.
Now we called him the Greek because he was the betting guy, right? Jimmy the Greek. He would tell the odds on the games and things like that, and who to pick or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden, what? You're gone. I want to come on Sunday and nope, we can't let you do that. You're done. They just pulled him. Didn't show. It could not show up. Right. So in '88 we moved quickly. So was in 1988 it a priority? Right at that point that said we got to move quickly, just as the LGBTQ community is a priority perhaps today. So we have to move quickly and de-escalate this.
No. I'm watching in the past, let's just say the past 5 years when I've seen things like this happen. It moves quickly when it's going to affect their bottom line. Now, if it's going to affect their pockets and they feel they're going to lose a lot of customers or clientele or viewers or things of that nature, yeah, we'll fix it, and that's when you'll get the tweet with the apology or press release of an apology, something like that. That we do not stand behind what this manager said. That was him. That is not our company. It's not a reflection on us whatsoever. This is not how they'll do that. Then when it's going to help their numbers, but if there's no personal benefit directly, or they think, won't be that big a deal. I don't see knees to chest. I see a slight jog or a trot. Like, it's not as quick. I don't think that in 1988 it went here and then went back down and is still trying to this. I think it was a situation where that's a news station and they know that something terrible was said. Could be very offensive, and so let's just fix that so we don't lose our ratings.
I'll pose the question: are we too close-minded as humans to be able to have more than one focus, one focal point?
As far as
fighting a good fight for people of color, people different sexual orientation, the poor, the wealthy. I mean, are we too focused then? Are we too close-minded, or what? That we have this narrow tunnel vision,
right.
And so, well, today's focus is it's going to be what we eat for breakfast,
right? Well, and we've had this conversation when it was the Asian hate, or in this situation, LGBT. In my mind, I want terminology or derogatory terms or certain actions or the quickness for change to happen, whether it's women's rights, whether it's Asians, whether it's LGBTQ, or things for minorities.
Yeah.
But it appears that other lanes just want my lane, and y'all stay over there. Well, because it's tick for tack, or it's there's always this justification of why this was okay. Like, nah, the faster we get it, so they're just not allowed to say this shit. Like, everyone else is good.
Yeah.
Versus it's bad here, okay here, and then they'll deal with it. Like, no, this is just wrong. No one should be talked to this way. No one should have to go through seeing these types of emails and then be like, oh, well, he apologized, so he must mean it. No, there's 300 emails from this dude talking like this. He doesn't mean it.
Right. So is it that the NFL said, okay, hey, what you said about homosexuals, very derogatory, and that's why we're getting you fired. And DeMaurice Smith, who is the head of the Players Association or whatever, goes, you have got to be kidding me. You, what? Here's a list of emails with how he was racially beating people up all the time. He's a racist. You let him work for 10 years. And because he said a derogatory thing about maybe he's got a point there. That might be a little, let's tell you what.
Let's turn around. Force him to.
What do you got? I've got one from 10 years ago that I held on to because of this prick, right? Let's use that then.
Let's go with that.
Right? I mean, is it the NFL now saying, we don't want to create a bigger yuck here because how could you let this POS of a person who obviously has a lot of hate in him,
right.
Towards anybody.
Right. And so let's grab this because otherwise there's going to be a ton of backlash. This is hot and fresh. Yep, what he said, people know. I didn't know about the homosexual comments. Everything that I read was all about the racial.
Mm-hmm.
So is it the spin and the controlling the narrative now and the push saying, all right, we're going to, because of this, you are being let go, not because of the whole picture.
Right.
And when does the NFL step up and go, you know what? Totally our bad. We should have handled this 11 years ago. Or maybe it was, you know what? Here's how we handled it 11 years ago.
Right.
And we should have seen this coming. But we've got billions of dollars that we need to make. I don't know. Shayna says, interesting interest conversion has given a false sense of progress, and I believe this is a great example. As long as it's profitable in money or influence, we see great tolerance for all. Yeah. But again, follow that money, right?
All the money.
So you know what, John? They love how fiery you are. You know, they love your, this, that, and the third.
Right.
Was it that I got caught gambling, so I had to go play baseball for a couple of years? Narrative. I'm going to retire. Baseball's been my first love. Let me go play that for a couple of years. So was it, hey, John, you got to leave. We'll let you sit over here on the network for a couple of years. Once you serve that, show us that you can
Chill out.
not be an idiot. We'll let you back into coaching. And he goes back to the team where he got his start. And then this comes out and they're like, we're idiots. This guy can't change, the stripes on a tiger.
Right.
Tim Stewart, good morning. Glad you're with us. He says, I think Phil has it spot on. It comes back to money, the viewers, or whatever their bottom line is. So, is it that type of scenario?
Apologizing for rate. I mean, I guess I don't want to speculate or sound something, but what's the bigger viewership? What's more money for the NFL? Is it a race thing? Is it a sex and love thing?
We're talking about a company, the National Football League, $1 billion industry.
Yep.
That says you can't hire a coach until you interview a minority coach. Literally had to make that a rule.
Why is that?
And we're surprised that perhaps a head football coach has a racist or a bigoted bone in their body.
I get that. But what's the money? What's the money? What's the money line here? Because are we apologizing for the race because that's where the money is?
I don't think they're apologizing for the race part. They let the race part slide. It was the LGBTQ aspect that got him resigned.
So is that where the money is?
That's where if you don't have...
it's not a topic.
What it seems like is if that community doesn't approve of you and everyone is making moves to make them feel comfortable and they're canceled, it's a slippery slope. You're going to lose not even just that community, but those who are compassionate towards that community. Hey, listen, you offended my brother. I'm not watching that stuff either. Then it's going to be in a bad light.
Right, and the kneeling protest that went on,
because that kind of went on the flip side because they were going to lose so many who were against the kneeling. So then it was kind of okay. Well, let's make rules so that doesn't happen, so that we don't lose because most of our viewers were against the kneeling. That was the money move. If you watch a lot of the corporations, we've had Black History Month for as long as I can remember, but all of a sudden this year, Netflix had BLM category, Amazon Prime had BLM category. All these had these because they want to know. No, we'll support, because if we don't have that, we look bad,
right,
and then we mess up our bottom line.
Yeah,
that was why it was instant change.
Right. So yeah, and I like where your stance is, Andrew, is that it's ugly with whatever you're choosing to be ugly, whether it's this community, whether it's that community,
right,
whether it's this group of people, whatever the case may be. Again, you can't change a tiger's stripes. This guy is obviously a bigot, and I'll take that he's not racist because he said that. Right.
I mean, I don't want to call him a liar.
I don't want to call him rubber-lipped.
Right.
Yes, he's definitely.
Right.
Trust me, he's rubber-lipped.
It's just, it's a tough situation.
It's crazy, right? So, but now, watch though this, I guess, and here's what I would say is, if it was the LGBTQ, we're coming at you with all guns blazing. And now we're going to have to do something as a league, as a commissioner, and let's remind everybody, Goodell is an exceptional lawyer, right? And this may be a battle that I don't want to have to go against.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But we know that people will forgive the racial. They'll soon forget.
Right.
Okay. So the next, where is the investigation into all coaches, into all owners now about their racial piece and statements? Because if it was the LGBTQ, they're coming at you and saying, we need to look through all of your
let's go back through the entire database.
Right. And that's where I say we as a society are like, yeah, okay, Bears Packers. You know what I mean?
Oldest rivalry of.
Yeah, he's an idiot. He lost his job. Okay, they took care of it. Let's get on to next week. I got fantasy football to worry about. Right. However, now, where is the demand? Where is the outcry for the investigation into every owner, every coach's racial slurs? It's not going to be there, folks. That's what I'm saying. That's where we as a society have to start going, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. We can't sweep it under the rug and get into next week. I need to go into Mike Ditka. You know what I'm saying? If we're going back 10 years, how far back do we go?
you can find some stuff you're not ready for.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
There's a book, Power of Now, and in the book Power of Now, it talks about how if there was an arsonist, but if you find out that the arsonist was the police chief, are you ever going to actually find the arsonist?
Right.
All of the NFL coaches and commissioners and ownership, you're going to read their email. I don't think that they're all going to vote for that action to happen so that they all can get their emails searched.
Does it go into baseball now? Does it go into where's the investigation? And here's why. We know as a society
we've seen so many ownerships and coaches.
Somebody to help with race, so we don't need to go back.
Right.
Correct. That's what we're saying.
We check the box.
We have to interview a white person, a black female, and a Mexican transgender before we hire a coach. That's enough. We don't need to go back.
We did. Okay, but his interview was 3 minutes. Hers was 6. And you spent 3.5 days with the white coach that you eventually.
You guys golf together.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Oh, because I'm white, I know how to golf?
You do.
Jim, coach says, can we fire a coach posthumously? Well, if you know my humor, yeah, you can do that.
We would. Can you imagine?
Shayna says it was the combo of emails showing an overall characterization of him, the players sharing the responsibility. Nobody makes waves when you are holding a spot so coveted. I wish people would let people be who they are so we don't have to guess each time. If this environment is toxic enough to file these emails for later use, you can be sure it's system-wide.
So, real quick, Tim, Tampa Bay took Gruden off from their Super Bowl and their playoff stuff. They've already done that in the last 2.5 days. They're not recognizing him. So, I know it's not completely, but to an extent, yeah.
Where's Waldo face on him in the lineup?
But, I mean, back to Shayna.
Right.
I mean,
they took down his statue.
Phil, what's your guess on that? You think there's racism system-wide in the NFL?
What?
You think there's racist terms being used system-wide in the NFL?
Kent, what are your thoughts?
I think they've taken down Gruden's statue this week.
It is, and that's what I was saying. It is, and it's been that we've seen coach after coach. I just wanted to Elvis and then come back with a hip swing.
That's it, right?
Papa's got a brand new and throwing James Brown.
I missed the part where Elvis sang that.
Yeah, no. It's
got the wrong record.
2 personalities in one.
I heard that's next year's Super Bowl halftime. halftime show because this year's just gonna please
says,
the 70-year-old white folk.
Tim says, guys, gotta fly. My boss is an ass. Great show this morning.
Appreciate you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
I'm his boss.
Hilarious. Even better.
It's a good thing you told us that before I responded. The guy sounds like a total. Oh, hi, kid.
Actually, I'm going to read that as a homosexual, very derogative. So I'll give that to now that it's here. It's out there, Tim, and it's going into your HR file.
If he's saying it,
hey, at least Sal accepts you for who you are, Ken.
Yeah, and thanks, Sal. He always supports me at Jerry Lewis's telethon. I appreciate that.
So, Shayna, I think you're spot on. I mean,
right.
He knew.
Yep.
He knew. He feels that way.
I mean, literally, I delete a ton of emails all the time. If you're holding on to it for 11 years, my kids get mad because of all the conversations I had, text conversation. Dad, get rid of these. You haven't. This is from last year. I don't know. It's there. No,
my mom's the opposite. My mom asked me the other day if I could resend her the picture I sent her on Monday. Mom, it's Monday. Well, I deleted my text today.
Yeah, she's quick. Boom, 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 right? So, but yeah, why on God's green earth would you ever go, well, reminds me of 11 years ago? Or was it this? Gun? I can't believe that he just said that about the LGBTQ. This is going to come out. Anybody got anything from, I don't know.
Any dirt.
Anything?
I?
Michelin tires.
Search John and then just highlight. This thing is fluorescent. All the highlighted sections where he was derogatory.
It's a rough right. way to live. Rough way to have to think. I mean,
well, if you're a good person, you're a good person. Again, like we said, to any community.
Right.
Right. If you're a bad person, you're probably not a bad person to just one
community. Right.
If that's safe to say, right?
Sal, that's over my head.
Yeah, emails and every keystroke are never deleted. That's right. It's what
that you can find them somewhere on the.
Yeah.
All I know is when I die, Phil's supposed to delete my browsing history on my phone. You're my guy.
You kept saying immediately, please. Why was that? So that's good. Yeah. All I'm saying is, if anything happens, go to my laptop.
Immediately. Use my thumb. It'll open it up. Just get rid of it. Right? And we joke a lot about it. But these are the things I think that the light starts coming on, and we have to start questioning and asking.
Right.
Is why so quickly for this and not that? And what else is there? And again, I will guarantee you that the LGBTQ community would come all guns blazing and say, hey, what in the world? And we're going to look at every coach that you have. Right. We're going to look at every organization that you have. And we're going to do an in-depth search. And a lot of people will be like, they should. Hallelujah. But we're taking it, and the spin that they're putting it on is the racial spin. Why aren't we looking into every coach's, every owner's, every email?
And looking for hate.
Hate
of any kind.
And here's why. Wouldn't be too many people left standing, I'm guessing.
Right.
Very, very few.
You'd crop out you'd filter the entire herd.
But how far back do we go? Like you said, got the football out, we go play smear the court.
Right. Hey, back in the day, I'm not racist. I got a colored TV. Right? Those were jokes.
Those were jokes.
Those were the things. Which is very racist.
That was a joke we told in our community, Phil.
Oh. Yeah. I said the same thing because it goes to white screen. So it's
but hey,
I ain't racist. I use whiteout.
Yeah. But I mean, there is that. I mean, as a person in my shoes, and with my history, I mean, I'm 40 years old. I'm not, I'm not 70. I'm not 82 like Kent. How far back does it go? I mean, I'm not afraid of how far back it would go in my history because I know I've learned. I know I've matured. I know I've changed. Yep. And I've done a lot in my life. And even though it's 40 years, for more than half my life, haven't been, blind to what's being said or what's being different. I mean,
you've got white, you got dark chocolate, you've got milk chocolate, you've got white chocolate. It's all chocolate.
Who's the dark chocolate one? You're white. He's white chocolate. Are you dark chocolate?
No, so maybe.
Oh, dark chocolate is definitely so. Definitely so.
Love him, right? Absolutely.
Milk chocolate, though, right?
Yeah, you can't legislate integrity, which is true. However, if you're letting one guy go for it, now you got to look into who, right? And if I'm Gruden, I had to step down pressured because of this, but I know this guy, 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 and this trainer, that trainer, this, all did too. So if you're letting me go, I have to resign. Y'all better start resigning too.
I hope he does it.
Will that happen?
Never.
No.
Too much money.
Too much money, right? Never. It's not an issue. It's not. It's just this one person.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Right. Now, and let's be honest. None of us feel bad for this guy. He's not going to be on food stamps. This man has made millions of dollars. Unless he's blown it all, then he's an idiot. And he should be on food stamps, right? But literally, what's he going to do? Oh my gosh. I had to resign. I will go live the rest of my life in my mansion in Las Vegas or whatever.
Right.
I'll write a book and most people will buy it.
Get millions again.
And still get millions again. Right?
Right.
So
A lot of closet racists will buy that book.
absolutely.
A lot of closet homophobes will buy that book.
Yeah. Or non-closet or non. You know.
Now, me, I'm likely to buy it because I like different things like that. I mean, big Walter Payton fan. Read a lot on Walter Payton. The newest book that came out about Walter Payton was kind of the darker side, a spin-off, a guy trying to make a little bit of money, in my opinion. They wasn't respectful, but I bought the book to see what it is. Now,
Right.
I read his thoughts.
But
Didn't change my judgment.
You do that. You do that you do that so you can have intelligent conversations with people. I can't speak on that book because I haven't read it. But people will grab a comment off of social media or whatever, and they'll be like, "You're wrong, Andrew." You're like, "Wait, did you read the book? What book?" All right,
exactly.
Then I can't have a good conversation with you, right? And that's what happens. But again, you know, unless he gets Epstein, anyway. Now, again, where is the outcry? Because I will guarantee you, probably this time next week, there won't be anything else said about it.
There's a good chance of it.
Who's going to take over the headlines?
There'll either be another incident or you're just saying swept under the rug, really.
Right.
Unless it goes into a full-blown, like you're saying, the LGBTQ gets everyone investigated.
Yep.
And then all those emails are going to now be...
Yeah, I don't see this one
into.
going away. I mean, it's because of more and more that's coming out, you know, social media world, more memes.
Sure.
And, you know, I don't know if this one goes away that quick unless something else pops up.
And it may not, but
for what reason? Is it going to be the LGBTQ? Is it going to be...
If it doesn't go away,
race?
It's because of LGBTQ. Because there's too much race stuff that's been said. Look at Trump.
Look at Trump. He's bankrupt. He had to live on only $400,000 a year.
Killing it.
Oh, goodness sake.
So then was Chappelle right? Was Chappelle right on this one?
There's a lot of truth to what he's saying. Stop punching down on my people. Right? And when I say my people, that was a quote.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah. You're down with the brown.
Yeah, everybody's my people.
Yeah, everybody's my people. My people
so, I mean,
got
that's
cowboy boots, Jordans.
It's important to understand.
And I'm rocking the Hey Dudes today. If you haven't tried the Hey Dudes, get yourself some Hey Dudes.
Can we see the Hey Dudes?
Amazing.
Can we show the people?
I tripped out when I saw him in that. He's usually got this.
Got the Hey Dudes.
Got the Hey
Sneaker
Dudes.
full of Jordan or closet full of Jordans at home, but I got the Hey Dudes.
Rocking the Hey Dudes.
Of course, thanks for getting caught in the net. This has been Bridging Civil Tension, and we're on the back end of it. Special guest today, Andrew
Family.
Vogel.
Thanks again,
Barrett
fellas.
Warner. If you're looking to sell a house, list a house, buy a house, reach out to them. How they get in touch with you?
Any way they want on the internet, Facebook, the gram. Anyway.
If you want
Barrett
information
Warner
on them, send
Algonquin.
me an email at 216@gmail.com. Just put, Andrew Vogel in the subject line. I'll make sure you get it.
Yep.
Yes.
Wrap.
Love you guys.
How they get in touch with you, Laylos?
Laylos on Facebook.
You got Laylos swag or no?
No.
I'm still waiting for it too. I don't.
You know, times have been tough. haven't been able to
There was
support.
a pandemic.
Okay,
Out of
y'all
work,
want to do the
not
honesty game?
unemployment.
Y'all want to in on honesty? Both of you guys have fluctuated in weight, and I know what size T-shirt to get both of you. Now what?
Here we go.
Now what?
Here
now
we go.
what? Now what?
That'll go back and edit.
Guess I got to go back and show my
I
thong
didn't
now.
fluctuate. There's been no fluctuation. It's just gotten a
My
lot
little thong.
It's just been a steady up to a climb.
Love you guys,
That's
man.
it. Stick around for our good friends, the Success Journey podcast coming up right now. Come back at noon for the Bare Facts on Guns. Come back at 3 for In the Know with Steph and Joe. Come back at 8 p.m. tonight for the Dream Home Experts. For all of us here at 2169, we appreciate you, love you, and remember, we feel that it's better to build a bridge, meet somebody in the middle of that bridge and talk to each other instead of blowing a bridge up.